Good morning and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rachel Wolf and it's Sunday, July 29th. We begin with a developing story. We're learning more than a half dozen homes have been destroyed by the Steel Fire in Berryessa Highlands, a community on the south end of Lake Berryessa off Highway 128. The Steel Fire started around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. As of 10 o'clock last night, it had burned 150 acres and was 10% contained.
I've never seen it like this before. It's just, here we go again.
Evacuation orders are nothing new for Stu Williams, who we just saw there. He stayed behind to protect his home, but he says seeing his neighborhood up in flames was upsetting, to say the least.
This is a small.
Mandatory evacuations are in place from Berryessa Highlands and Pleasure Cove. That affects about 300 people. Fire officials have not said what started the blaze. And in Lake County, it's a race against time to save the outskirts of the Lakeport community located next to Clear Lake. The river fire has been making a run at this community since it sparked Friday afternoon. The fire is now 11,000 acres with just 5% containment. Another fire nearby, the Ranch Fire, has also exploded in size, affecting both Mendocino and Lake counties. It's burned more than 13,000 acres so far and is just 5% contained. These fires have caused Governor Jerry Brown to issue more states of emergency. In a press release, he says the River, Ranch, and Steel fires in Mendocino, Lake, and Napa counties have destroyed homes, threatened critical infrastructure, and caused the evacuation of residents. The proclamation frees up resources for emergency responders. Meanwhile, heartbreak and worry as the Carr Fire continues to move toward communities in Shasta County. That Carr Fire started Monday in Whiskeytown. Within a few days, it took over boats on Whiskeytown Lake. And then Thursday evening, the unthinkable happened. That fire made a run at Redding, destroying everything in its path. CAL FIRE says it's still just 5% contained. That number hasn't moved much in the last few days. As of this morning, it's burned more than 89,000 acres. It grew by about 6,000 overnight. We know 5 people have died so far in this fire. More than 500 structures are destroyed, and that number could keep growing as the evacuation list grows. Now let's check in with ABC 10's Jock Maluka, who's been monitoring the situation. He's now live in Shasta County. What's the latest? Okay, we're having a little bit of difficulty with that shot. That's Jock Maluka reporting from IGO. And we do know that that fire is just 5% contained. Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods is here in studio to talk about that. We have hazy, smoky conditions here, and we can see how bad it was up there. It's hard to breathe.
Exactly. And when you look at these dangerous fire conditions that are going to continue at least until Monday morning, that's not the best news right throughout the entire region for today.
Thank you, Monica, for that update. This is what Shasta College looked like yesterday, as an estimated 38,000 people are now outside of their homes. The Red Cross says Shasta College is full with more than 500 people staying there. ABC 10's Lena Howland reports from another evacuation shelter that's also starting to fill up in our area. Governor Brown announced President Trump and FEMA have granted the state's request for help in the Carr Fire. This means FEMA will be assisting in the air at shelters and helping with further evacuations. Shelters should be getting more water, food, and medical supplies. FEMA will help distribute those supplies and care. The VA in Northern California is asking us to get the word out about their outpatient clinic in Redding. They're evaluating whether to open tomorrow morning. They're encouraging folks to check their website and social media for updates throughout the weekend. If you have any immediate concerns, you can call their advice line, 1-800-382-8387. Almost 3,400 firefighters are battling the Carr Fire, and many of them are also grieving. Capitol flags in Sacramento have been lowered to half staff in honor of the 2 firefighters who have been killed. A bulldozer operator who died Thursday has been identified as 81-year-old Don Smith from Pollock Pines. The Redding firefighter killed, Jeremy Stoke, also died Thursday. Yesterday, we showed you this picture of Stoke. This was taken just a day before he died. He had been with the Redding Fire Department since 2014, and he also had a 13-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. We've also learned a woman and her 2 great-grandchildren who were reported missing in the Carr Fire have died. The aunt of the 2 children confirmed to us, 5-year-old James Roberts and 4-year-old Emily Roberts and 7-year-old Melody Bledsoe, in fact, died in that fire. She says Melody's husband was out running errands and couldn't get back home in time. Here's what a family member told us outside that home. If you want to help families in need, we have an article on our website showing how you can help Carr Fire evacuees and animals. All of these groups and fundraisers have been verified. You can find the list on our website, abc10.com. Meanwhile, on the front lines of the fire, it's an all-out effort to save the town of IGO. That's about 30 minutes southwest of Redding. We found crews on the ground clearing brush yesterday. On Friday, the town was put under mandatory evacuation orders. One homeowner we spoke with decided to get out as soon as he saw the flames. If you're told to evacuate, please listen and leave. The Carr fire has created its own weather, including this large rotation from Thursday. This is just unbelievable video. It's now being shared across the country. Authorities in Reading say they've made at least one arrest for looting. The CHP says they have about 50 officers patrolling evacuated neighborhoods in addition to other law enforcement already out there. Firefighters battle 45 to 50 fires a day across California. They can spark anywhere. And this week we asked, if you only had 5 minutes to leave your home with the things that are the most important to you, would you be able to? Very good. Thank you so much, Giacomo, reporting 80,000 acres. We're told 80,000 acres have now been burned by that Carr fire. And Monica, you're here in studio with us this morning. Glad you're here updating us on the conditions. What can firefighters expect as they're heading out to battle the blaze? Unfortunately, things are getting worse. Now we've got You heard him say it, fire tornado. We spoke to people on the ground as they were heading back to their homes to either look for a pet or see the damage done firsthand. And that's what they described seeing. We want to show you some video that's gone viral. As the Carr fire moved into Reading, it looked like a tornado. I have never seen anything like that. That is just unbelievable video. This is called a rotation updraft. You can hear the wind picking up. The National Weather Service tweeted a statement saying their radar indicated a strong rotation located within the Carr fire. They were saying there were gusts of wind up to 50 miles an hour and fire whirls also possible. ABC 10's Rob Karlmark has more on what a so-called fire tornado is and how they form. Fire has forced more than 37,000 people from Reading to evacuate, and those numbers are actually increasing this morning. Many of them are finding homes and shelters set up at places like Shasta College. People are calling this campus home for right now. Not only are cots being set up and food being donated, but medical equipment is on hand to help people who'd had to run with what they had. A lot of you might be seeing these images of devastation from the fires and wonder how you can help. The Red Cross says donating food and clothing might seem helpful, but the best thing you can do is send money, cold hard cash. You can donate to the Red Cross by going to their website, redcross.org. 5 infants from Mercy Medical Center in Reading were transferred over to the neonatal intensive care unit at UC Davis Children's Hospital. Extra nurses were brought in to care for the young infants, all of whom arrived safely.
We had 9 extra nurses that actually came in last night to cover for the nurses that then went out on transport to get these babies. They're just doing well. They are. Yeah, they're tucked away.
Glad they're safe. Hospital officials say they haven't received any other patients from Reading, but they are in constant communication with the hospitals in the area and are on standby. Amid all of that devastation, we found some positive stories too. One woman is saying thank you to a firefighter who risked his life to save her family's dog. ABC 10's Madison Wade reports. That's one happy dog and a lucky dog. Turning now to the Ferguson fire. First, some new numbers just in this morning. It's grown to almost 50,000 acres and is 29% contained. Earlier, we told you the Yosemite Valley was supposed to reopen tomorrow, but now it's scheduled to reopen Friday at 4 in the afternoon. But as ABC 10's Kurt Rivera found people in the park enjoying nature, even with smoke hovering above them. New this morning, Sacramento police are investigating a shooting that left one man dead. This was around 8 o'clock last night near 53rd and H Streets in East Sacramento. Officers say they found 2 men at the scene. One had been shot and he died at the hospital. The other was arrested. Police didn't say what exactly led up to the shooting, only that the 2 men had been involved in some kind of disturbance. They're still investigating. If you have any information, please contact police. Here are some of the other top stories that we're following right now. A group of ICE protesters set up camp outside of the Department of Homeland Security offices in downtown Sacramento. They're protesting federal immigration and customs enforcement's treatment of undocumented immigrants. Sacramento police gave them citations for camping. The group had set up about a half dozen tents along the sidewalk. And we now know the identities of the 2 people killed Thursday after an attempted kidnapping ended in a crash on I-80. The crash happened near the Gold Run exit in Alta. Police say 20-year-old Dayton Holden of Newcastle forced his girlfriend, 23-year-old Devin Graham, into a truck. He was then seen speeding from her Ridge Road home, heading west on 80. Witnesses say he was driving extremely fast and then suddenly turned toward trees at the side of the freeway. New this morning, Sacramento police are investigating a shooting that left one man dead. This was around 8 o'clock last night near 53rd and H Streets in East Sacramento. Officers say they found 2 men at the scene. One had been shot and he died at the hospital. The other was arrested. Police didn't say what exactly led up to the shooting, only that the 2 men had been involved in some kind of disturbance. They're still investigating. If you have any information, please contact police. Here are some of the other top stories that we're following right now. A group of ICE protesters set up camp outside of the Department of Homeland Security offices in downtown Sacramento. They're protesting federal immigration and customs enforcement's treatment of undocumented immigrants. Sacramento police gave them citations for camping. The group had set up about a half dozen tents along the sidewalk. And we now know the identities of the 2 people killed Thursday after an attempted kidnapping ended in a crash on I-80. The crash happened near the Gold Run exit in Alta. Police say 20-year-old Dayton Holden of Newcastle forced his girlfriend, 23-year-old Devin Graham, into a truck. He was then seen speeding from her Ridge Road home, heading west on 80. Witnesses say he was driving extremely fast and then suddenly turned toward trees at the side of the freeway. They say he never hit the brakes. The Placer County Sheriff's Office is still investigating. Governor Brown wants to raise taxes to pay for an upgrade of the state's outdated 911 system. He's asking the legislature to consider an existing tax on in-state phone calls be replaced by a flat fee to cover the 911 upgrades. The tax would amount to about 34 cents per line. The proposed tax would generate about $175 million in the first year. A local baseball player is heading to New York this weekend to compete in a nationally televised tournament. We'll introduce you to Joshua Hardiman. You're watching Weekend Mornings on the ABC 10 Information Network. $40 because my daughter is obsessed with trying to win stuff at the Midway. The big thing about today is the cornhole competition.
Yes.
Sabrina Washington from the California State Fair
Hello.
is here to talk about that.
Yes, so it is the last day of the California State Fair, so we thought we'd finish it off with a little bit of cornhole. And there's cash prizes. Anybody really who can pick up and throw a 15.5-ounce beanbag, there you go.
That. Oh,
can play. And we have a social and a serious division. So even if you are a newbie to it, you are welcome to come and play and sign up. Registration online and also at 10 a.m. this morning.
Okay, so it's open to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Singles or teams of 2, your choice. Pick your adventure wisely.
Very good. Okay, and do you have to train or practice for this? Lift weights?
Ideally, it all comes down to technique, really. So that's one of the things when I was chatting with the folks from California Cornhole Association. A lot of people will talk. There's an association for everything.
Who knew this, right? Oh,
yes.
gosh.
So a lot of people will toss their bags like so.
Okay.
Which, is fine. Yay, cornhole.
Yeah, look at that. She is a ringer, I'm telling you, folks. I took my shoes off for this. It's getting serious.
But there's actually a technique to it where you hold the bag like this rather than this. And then this is your power, this is your aim, and then this is your control. So then you go and toss, and then you would end up on the board and get a point. Or if you make it in the hole, you get 3 points. So there you go. Pretty simple.
Very good, very good. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I will try a few.
Okay.
Okay.
And you are totally welcome to hop in on this one. And there's some other bags down at the other end as well.
So, all right, here we go.
So you can do it. I believe in you. Yes.
Almost. Too much power.
A little bit too much
right?
power.
Okay, here we go. We gotta get some more. We gotta get some more.
Yes.
And so, how many people do you do this every year? How many people show up?
So this is our 3rd year doing it. Very exciting. We are in a new location. It is at Papa Murphy's Park. So we are on grass this year versus being on asphalt from the year before.
Well, and it's hot on asphalt, so.
And we have 80 teams. There you go. Yes.
Oh, what does that mean?
It you're still in.
I think
so
you're
that's a point right there. Yes.
Yes!
Cornhole! Awesome! So you can totally come out. Anybody watching can come out. Sign up. Registration once again begins at 10 a.m.
Does it cost anything at all?
It does.
Okay.
So there is a registration fee. You will have to pay it when you get there. But you know what? Come out, have some fun. We'll be on the grass at Papa Murphy's Park, and it'll be a great time.
The kids would love something like this. And great chance to break things up and not be obsessed with the Midway where I'm losing money.
Exactly. And you could actually win money doing this one. So
That's
why
right.
not do it?
Sabrina is
There you go.
Well, we're going to end on a high note. All right, I got the last one in. I'm not going to do any more.
There you go.
Monica, I'm going to toss it over to you. The weather, a little bit cooler today, although we do have that smoky haze.